And this breaking news is from India. And the Indian government has summoned the Iranian ambassador at the headquarters of the Ministry of External Affairs in New Delhi over the incident in the Strait of Hormuz. The move comes after Iran's state broadcaster, the IRIB, reported that 2 Indian vessels were turned back following the reclosure of the Strait of Hormuz and have also been fired upon. The IRIB reported that one of the 2 Indian vessels was a VLCC supertanker, which was carrying 2 million barrels of oil from Iraq. Iran's military command says that it would continue to block the transit through the strait as long as the US blockade of Iranian ports remains in effect. Now, around a fifth of the world's oil and liquefied natural gas passes through the strait, but traffic through the route had come to a near standstill after the war erupted on February 28th with US and Israeli strikes on Iran. Let's talk to our Assistant Editor for Foreign Affairs, Sidhant Sibol, is on phone. Sidhant, what are the developments from your end? We do understand that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has summoned the Iranian ambassador to India.
Well, yes, Eric, the Indian government of Indian Foreign Ministry has summoned the Iranian ambassador primarily over the incident that has happened in Hormuz, where there has been firing on vessels in which Indian vessels on which there were Indian sailors as well. Now, we know that this is a grave incident, and that, of course, has been a cause of concern for New Delhi. And something happened short while ago at the Foreign Ministry, where, of course, the Indian side raised the issue. Now, we also know that Hormuz is an important choke point, which has been, of course, under a lot of big focus, primarily because of the US-led war. And we also know that since then, the Iranian side has taken control of it. There is a US blockade as well on Iranian ports. There are approximately 14 to 15 Indian vessels in the Hormuz, while many vessels have crossed Hormuz, but there are still Indian vessels. So there is, of course, a worry over the situation on the ground in the waters, basically. But the big focus, of course, for the Indian side remains on the safety and security of its nationals and, of course, the Indian sailors as well. Many of these Indian sailors are still there in Hormuz, but the Indian focus remains on the safety and security of the seafarers. Now, we know that there is a temporary ceasefire in West Asia, but how long it holds is also the big question.
All right. What you see on your screens are the footage or some of the images of the Iranian ambassador who's leaving his residence or he's leaving the embassy in India. He's headed to the Ministry of External Affairs because he has been summoned by the Ministry of External Affairs following what happened in the Strait of Hormuz, and that is the vehicle carrying the Iranian ambassador to India has been summoned once again by the government of India and the Foreign Affairs Ministry to answer to the questions regarding a vessel that was attacked. The VLCC is one of the 2 supertankers which was attacked by gunboats which are patrolling the Strait of Hormuz. And this incident is quite worrying, as you can understand why India is concerned about this latest event. And once again, what you see on your screen, these are actually live shots from the Iranian embassy in India, where the ambassador of Iran to India has been summoned by the External Affairs Ministry to answer to this latest incident. Chris Doyle is still with us. He's live in London. Chris, there are reports of firing by gunboats in the strait. Some vessels have been attacked, including Indian vessels, and this is according to the Iranian broadcaster. If this persists, what could be the significance of that, and could it impact the slated talks?
Well, I think, first of all, I think India is quite right to make these heavy diplomatic representations. It's quite appalling to have vessels being fired upon. And I think in the bigger picture, I think Iran and the United States, both states, are running the risk of really losing in terms of their global reputation. The United States didn't have to impose its blockade at all. And Iran is holding the global economy, by the throat and squeezing. And as a result, I think that it's going to have very few friends, if at all, at the end of all of this. We need to find and we need to see energized diplomacy to resolve all of this, because this is not allowing anybody to come out on top. It's going to be degrees of losing. And a lot of it is about ego, a lot of it is about reputation, the ability of all parties in this conflict to try to pretend that somehow that they have won, that they are the victors. Well, you know, to do that, you are causing a lot of harm. The foodstuffs that won't be grown, won't be going to the poor and needy, the fertilizers, all the other commodities that are being held up, which is going to have a wide, broad humanitarian consequence as a result.
Chris Doyle is the Director of Council for Arab-British Understanding and the current lead spokesperson for the Council. Mr. Chris Doyle, we'll have to leave it there, but this, if you're just joining us, this is the latest that we are receiving in our newsroom right now, and the Iranian ambassador to India has been summoned by the Foreign Ministry of India. What you see on your screen is just moments ago where the Iranian ambassador was leaving his residence or the embassy in India to head to the Foreign Ministry, where he's set to answer to the incident that happened earlier today, where an Indian vessel was attacked by gunboats and the crew and the captain did issue a distress call. The Indian tanker in question is called the VLCC, and the captain raised an issue and a distress call earlier and said that they were being fired upon. He said that he's safe and the crew members of the vessel are also safe. So this is a developing story. We will keep our tabs on it and we'll give you an update in our subsequent broadcasts.